Hi everyone, welcome to Super Monday. Thanks for joining us today, and it's great to see you again. This is Beril. I'm a publishing product manager at Supersonic. Today we're all here to welcome spring, and obviously the best way to do so is introducing you our next promotion, which will be SuperSpring. As usual, we're here to publish your next hyper casual hit with us. This time we'll be offering you huge cash prizes and bonuses throughout the publishing funnel. Aside from that, giving you extensive mentoring sessions for our experts. And a small sneak peek is that this time this promotion will be all about focusing on your next runner, simulation, and puzzle games. How? Let's see it all together. Let's go over our agenda first. We have a packed agenda today. In the first half, as usual, we're going to go over promotion, what we will be offering you during SuperSpring, what makes this competition different than the others, what are cash prizes and bonuses, and go over our timeline. In the second half, our market research analyst, Uri Ron, will be giving you the current market trends that you guys can start working on your ideation process with your games that you'll be submitting to SuperSpring. After that, our creative team lead, Giacomo, will be giving you the best tips to come up with your most marketable ideas and games. The last but not least, like always, we'll be finishing it out with our Q&A session. So please start leaving all of your questions down below. And at the end of the session, we'll all be answering all of them. Before we dive into the competition, I want to mention something really important. Please keep in mind that contests are an amazing opportunity for you to test your games with us and publish them. Here you can see few of them. As an example, the games that we tested during a competition and published with us. And who knows, maybe you will be the next one and we'll be seeing your game's logo there. And let's get to business. What do we offer now? As a hyper-casual publisher, we're trying to guide our studios in the best possible way. We know that the market has changed and things are taking more time than it used to. We know that publishing a game takes more time. This is why we're here to give you huge cash bonuses and prizes during the publishing funnel, which means that from prototyping till you publish, Supersonic will be supporting you in all aspects. So how does it work? Let's see it in each step, how we'll be supporting you. As you know, everything starts with prototyping. You submit your game to our platform. The game is approved. Once it moves to testing, you'll be eligible to receive the payment per prototype. The next step will be seeing the game's potential. The initial test is conducted on Facebook. If it shows potential, we'll be testing in other networks too. If the KPIs are also good, we have a good marketability score. That means it's perfect. We're moving to the second phase, which will be iterations. During iteration, you'll be also meeting with the rest of the Supersonic family. You will have a publishing manager. You will meet your game designer who will be creating your roadmap, and many new people, new faces from Supersonic. And this time we'll be offering you two different options. Either you can receive payment per iteration, monthly payment per iteration. As long as you work on your project, you'll be receiving certain amounts of payment. Or what can happen is that you can come to iteration phase and hand your game to Supersonic and exit the publishing process and keep working on your new prototypes. And the last and third step is obviously why we're here for, to publish your amazing games. And hopefully once we move to global launch successfully, you'll be eligible to receive a minimum guarantee from us. As I said earlier, this promotion will be different. Why? This time we will ask you to focus on your runner, simulation, and puzzle games. As you may also aware of, the market has changed, and right now we're seeing a trend in these type of games. It's all over the top charts. This game has a potential to be marketable. At the same time, there's a great opportunity to add more gameplay, more content, create more progression. So why not to take care of it? Take the chance to come up with these games. Besides that, we're receiving a lot of questions from you lately, which genre to focus on, that you're sometimes confused and not sure where to. This is why this time we're here to guide you in the best way, and please make sure that you focus on those three genres and come up with amazing games. Of course, what do we offer? What are our prizes? The most important part. Any game that is submitted to our platform within the SuperSpring period and starts the test during the testing time will be eligible to receive $300 payment immediately, no matter the KPIs. If any of those games that was testing during SuperSpring gets published, you'll be eligible to receive $200,000 minimum guarantee from us. For the ones who are not familiar with what is minimum guarantee, this is a payment. Once your game moves to global launch successfully, you'll immediately be eligible to receive this payment. And we work with profit share. Once your profit share goes above $200,000, you'll be receiving your profit share regularly each month. Just a small reminder, once you publish a game with Supersonic, you'll be earning way more than this minimum guarantee. And like always, as I mentioned earlier, and I'll be mentioning several times, we're here to publish your game and come up with the next hit. So our aim is not to test as much as prototypes, but to focus on high and strong games in terms of ideation and execution. This is why we will ask you to submit maximum of 5 games. Only those games will be eligible to move to testing. We know that market has changed and it's not easy to come up with prototypes and ideas. It requires more time on ideation, more time on market research, more time on execution. So let's focus on only few games, but make sure that we can build this game. The game is marketable, and in the future, if we move to the further steps, we can actually work on this game. So please don't forget this and submit your games wisely. Also don't forget to submit your best runner, simulation, and puzzle, because we're already excited to see them. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, in iteration, you will have 2 options. The first one is, okay, you had a marketable and strong prototype, which moved to iteration. You can either receive up to $5,000 monthly payment per iteration, as long as you work on this game, or you can receive up to $20,000 from Supersonic, hand your game to us, and exit the publishing process. This is something new that we're offering, and personally, I'm really excited because I know some of you are solo developers, or sometimes it's pretty challenging for someone to work from initial testing to publishing phase, which is a long and a challenging road. And some of you are really strong in terms of ideation and coming up with marketable ideas. So why not to offer this opportunity to you? You guys can go back to the first stage, which is prototyping, and come up with an amazing game again. So why not to take this opportunity? Just please keep in mind that in order to be eligible for this, your game needs to have a marketability score 4 and above, with day 1 retention 30 and above. And then you have the opportunity to pick which way you want to go. So for the ones who are familiar with our dashboard, we have something called marketability score. Once you start your test on our platform, immediately you receive a score between 1 to 5. It shows how marketable is your game. Everything starts on Facebook. First, we test your test on Facebook. Once the test is completed, you get a marketability score. This marketability score includes the CPI, the demographics, and the placement that we see from your Facebook test. Especially demographics and placement are 2 really important points for us to see if and how your game will be scaling while we're moving to the further steps. This is why we take these 3 components together and come up with a score. If everything goes well, we have a nice and strong marketability score and in-game looks good. We used to move to test your games into other networks, which used to be TikTok and ironSource. However, after having an intensive research on it and relying on the data that we have, we decided to switch these 2 networks to Google and Unity. We know that these are better and more reliable sources for us to see success in the end. This is why first we're conducting the test on Facebook, then it moves to Google and Unity. And if you manage to get a marketability score 4 in each networks, in total you get a full marketability score of 4, which is amazing because we only want to see 4 and 5s. And aside from our cash bonuses and prizes, of course, we have more to offer you. For the studios who show their potential, first, they have an option to get a VIP brainstorming session from experts, which means that they will be sitting together and helping them to find their next concept. We know that it got pretty challenging to find new concepts that are marketable or any concept that is going to work. This is why our Supersonic team and experts are here to help you and guide you in that aspect. Not only that, but we will also be offering you one-on-one sessions with our experts on and give feedback on your existing games. So if you already have a game that shows potential, but you're not sure how to move forward with it, you have questions in mind, you need some help, again, we're here. Our experts are here to guide you in the best possible way. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll be offering this option to potentials who shows we'll be offering this to studios who show actually potential. By potential, what we mean is that we want to make sure that you're focused on the market trends, your execution, and strong on ideation. This is why, again, it's important to underline that, please, while you're submitting your game, make sure to show your studio's potential, because we're here to publish games. So if we see your studio's potential, we'll be able to give all of our extensive resources, share with you, and come up with your next hit. And our toolkit, obviously, always, as always, in each promotion, we try to offer you different resources you to work on. The first one will be Knowledge Hub. For the ones who have already access to our Supersonic dashboard, you know our Knowledge Hub probably. The ones who does not have access, please make sure to submit your games to our website from Submit Your Game button and get an access to Supersonic dashboard. Because before you start ideating, this is one of the best places to look at. We have many articles. We have many videos of tips and tricks on how you can start your ideation. And one of the most important things is that every month we're sharing our market research trends report, which we share the most strong references for games that you can actually ideate from. So please make sure to check that out. The second is our Learn Hub, which is already live on our website. There you can watch our previous Super Monday sessions, go on our old case studies, and get tips and tricks for your new ideas and creatives. And last but not least will be our best practices. As we mentioned earlier, this time we'll only be focusing on a runner, simulation, and puzzle. So we will be sharing the best practices for each genre, strong references for these games, tips for these games while you're working on the gameplay or even coming up with your creative. So make sure to focus on these and make sure to check these before you start actually working on your prototype. For sure, it's going to be helping you a lot. And our timeline. Let's go over it and see how we're going to be doing this. So today on the Super Monday session, we're kicking off SuperSpring, introducing you the new promotion and what we're expecting from you. Also today, our submission period starts for SuperSpring, and it will last for exact 7 weeks until May 27th. So please make sure that your games are submitted from today until May 27th. Any game that has been submitted before or after these times will not be eligible, so please keep this in mind. And maybe you guys are already aware, in between we have something new that we're going to be offering to you, and we're really excited to share with you, which will be an Ask Me Anything live stream session. After our promotion starts, we're going to be having a live stream session with our experts. And you guys will have the option to ask us any question that you have in mind about Supersonic, about publishing process, about your game ideas, and many more. And our experts will be coming there and answering all of your questions. So we're already excited to see you there too. And once our submission period ends on May 27th, you will have an exact a week to turn your test live until June 3rd. So please keep in mind that any game that starts testing after June 3rd will not be eligible for the cash prizes and bonuses. So make sure to submit your game on time and test your game on time. And as you can see, this time we've extended our promotion time. It's 7 weeks. You have enough time to ideate. You will have enough time to work on it, come up with your creatives, integrate your SDKs, and turn your test live. So please take this opportunity. And I said, we're really excited to see your amazing runner simulation and runner games. So please don't forget to add them to SuperSpring. And now our market research analyst Uri and creative team lead Giacomo will give you amazing tips. So make sure you take care of them.
Hey everyone, my name is Uri and I'm responsible for market research here at Supersonic. We talk about runners, puzzles, and simulation games and share tips for successful trends and tips. So starting with make your runner a hit. So why runners? Runners are always trending. For years, each year we have a different type of runner. They are relatively easy to develop to compare to other games. They have this strong balance between good marketability and also good KPIs, playtime and retention. And also we see the new type of runners, as we will share later, that have higher playtime, higher retention, and also we see that some of them can monetize very well with in-app and even starting to go hybrid. So this is why runners, again, still strong category. Some publishers don't do runners. We still believe in this category. We had few big hits with runners. And as we can see runner trends, so we see those idle gate runners, type of runners that are now trending. Weapon Craft Run and Weapon Master are two examples for those type of runners. Those runners have much higher playtime, much higher retention. I mean, they work mainly with guns until now, but we also test other themes that also show nice playtime and retention. And usually we call them idle because users progress very slow and they can either choose to grind and progress and play a lot, or watch RV or make any in-app to progress much faster. So those type of runners are super trending now and much more engaging compared to the old runners. So we can see that users also make in-app purchase in those type of runners. If we can share tips for building a runner. So don't rely on niche themes that only go for lower CPI. Also think about, how the theme will show progression and unlocking, and God is one example for that worked very well. A tip for any game, but also for runners, optimize creatives for CPI, but also gameplay for KPI. So it's separating, think about what creative will bring low CPI, but also think about the gameplay part, what will bring users excitement, engagement, and how they will go and progress and unlock things and have exciting gameplay. So again, focus on game loop, economy, and progression. Again, we don't expect you to work a few months on a runner concept, but again, make sure that once CPI is there, you can add more layers to the game, make it much more exciting. Add progression layers. We had merge working very well. And also the last tip is runner creatives are meant to get the CPI needed, but the game can go and have more depth. So again, we use a lot of gate runners that Giacomo will talk about later on the creative side, but then the game can have different layers, different depth. It can be just more than a runner. So runner is just the way to get a good marketability that we find in this category. And moving to Giacomo that will talk about different creatives.
Hello everyone, my name is Giacomo and I'm leading the video creative powerhouse behind Supersonic new and live games, where I'm overseeing the entire creative journey from initial test to full scalability. After years as an art director leading the ideation and the design process of thousands of video interactive ads across literally all game genres and existing networks, I've leaked into strategy to help clients build impactful work that work. I love playing mobile games and diving into fresh and exciting titles every week. And today I'm very excited to spill the beans on the secret behind impactful and successful creative that can really potentially reduce your CPI. But before that, I would like to refresh some basic tips that can eventually reduce your CPI relevant across all the hyper casual genre, and then divide and analyze the specific subgenres and my recommendation for each one's creative. So always clarity is the main point here to hitting a good CPI. And there is something to remember when you're the users need to understand something very important: your game mechanics, the goal, and the control in a way that is very, very easy. So we have a few opportunities here to improve the clarity in our prototypes that we should always remember. And first of all, we're starting with definitely the gameplay, to choose the right gameplay in the way we're playing that specific level, and moving to art and visual characterized with bright colors and high contrast, along with the appropriate camera perspective and the addition of a hand pointer for specific subgenres and mechanic, should make your game stand out and allow players to really understand what they need to do in a short amount of time. I know you're all eager to implement the new creative trends around the industry, but there is something crucial that we should differentiate. The creative approaches that are they have potential to lower the CPI from the creative approaches that can drive incremental growth and scalability. Now, from the left side, and this is exactly where we're going to focus on because we're in the initial test, so The most important thing to nail here is the level that you choose, and the gameplay, right? These are the most important key factors to focus on while you want to reduce your CPI and testing your new titles. On the right side, on the incremental scale, of course, we can talk about the environment, all the texture, the real different hook and openers, voiceover, caption. But this is something that it's happening usually on a very late stage and really help the campaign to have more performance. Let's just jump right in now on the creative trends, and let's start seeing what is happening on the runner games. Now, one cool trick for runner games is definitely showing the character on the lower part of the screen going through exciting transformation. There is, the hook at the end of your video, right? That's grabbing attention. There is nothing really more captivating than while satisfying relevant transformations to lower your CPI and engage with the users. So make sure to adapt your gameplay and show the big transformation, big body morphing animation where you focus your attention on the character's visual. It's important to remember that satisfaction is a key factor in hyper-casual to bringing your player want for more. It's talking about how relevant is the transformation. It's important also to take care of how relevant are the objects you collect and the choices that you make. And the players here need to understand quickly because the decision that they make, what is in front of them, because they need to zip through those gates quite easily. So in order to do so, we should be able to communicate to the user really easily what is the impact of their choice in choosing the object to collect or directional choice. This is why we're using simple color association like green for save and red for danger that will help with the decision making, right? So the user in this case will know already in advance what is expected and the decision that they should take. So, of course, adding icons or emojis or text or numerical operation definitely support the decision making and help the user decide much faster what they need to do. Regarding environment, this is something also that is not part of our focus specifically from the initial test, because as I mentioned already, our focus first going on finding the right level and the right way of playing these specific levels. But while we're moving to the advanced testing environment, it's a topic that it's definitely helpful to bring more incremental growth. And we're usually working with two main categories here, the low poly 3D environments and the realistic one. While the first one, it's quite simple, not overwhelming, and it's just framing the gameplay in a better way. On the realistic category, you see there is a different immersion in the gameplay itself. So it's important that the realistic background, HDR, and 3D high resolution will definitely be responsive to the gameplay for a full immersion. Regarding hybrid, this is the new subgenres that is popping lately on our top chart. The situation is quite different because those creative are showing action-packed scenarios, right? Full of different items to collect or obstacles to overcome. Something really cool that we're seeing compared to the other runners is the different camera point of view. Because the theme itself usually is going around weapons, and this is specifically going through the male audience, the first-person camera is something that is helping this audience to immerse completely in the gameplay. Something really cool, of course, to try is always the merge and assembling mechanic on the weapon. It's something that is engaging with this specific audience and definitely something to test both at the beginning of your video or while you're playing the runners. The last point, something noticeable, is the evolution of the ages, both if we have the item evolution or focus on characters.
So again, for runners, there are so many themes that you can take. Some themes work better than others. I mean, colors used to work in runners all the time. Weapons, we talked about guns, runners, and those type of runners that work very well. Although the market is full of them now, but still it's a good concept. Again, money themes, gates, as Jaco talked about, some satisfying things, digging, cleaning, cutting, chopping. So theme is very important, and in hyper casual there are so many themes that can bring lower CPI, but also think about the gameplay, and those things are great to try as well. And if we go to main key takeaways just for the runners part, then first thing is ideation. Again, play those trending runners. We talk about weapon craft run, weapon master. Also, we also have a few runners that we work on that are very similar. So play those runners, understand them very well. For the creative part,
definitely the position of the character in the lower third is the first trick that you should use. Of course, showing those relevant transformation on a very early stage, I would say from the first second up until the third second, this is a must. You can, of course, make sure that to enhance the clarity of the decision making by using the classic color reference red and green to facilitate the user, and of course the addition on any specific icons, emoji, numerical value, and text to increase the facility on the decision making. And last but not least is the usage of the third person camera perspective to facilitate again the users to understand exactly what is happening and attending in front of us.
Yeah, and if we talk about themes in runners, again, the theme is super important because the gameplay is pretty much similar in most of the runners. So avoid niche themes. We get a lot of ideas that only think about the CPI side, but don't think about the gameplay. Sometimes the theme is not good enough to get a normal playtime and retention. Try to have exciting gameplay and progression. Again, we saw many examples with weapon runners. It's much more exciting to shoot, and then your weapon gets stronger. There's so many satisfying moments in those type of runners. And again, creative should show changes and evolution and progression. And this is like the first things about runner is first getting the good marketability, which is super important for runners because they are much better in this compared to other categories. So those are the key takeaways for runners. And I think that we can move on to the next category, which is making your puzzle hit. So again, if we talk about puzzles, then why puzzles? Again, now is the most popular category that's going hybrid. We see a lot of puzzle game now that launch and already make significant in-app purchase money, again, by top publishers. They monetize much better with in-app purchase, again, because they have this embedded fail in most puzzles, also in top grossing games. You fail a level, you need to try again, or you can play on with coins or power-ups. So the monetize is built in those type of games. They have much higher retention compared to other games because people come for the challenge, they love the challenge, they look for new levels, they want to challenge their brain every time, so they stay longer in those games, and it's just about adding content and balancing the levels. So yeah, they have higher CPI and they are less scalable compared to classic hyper-casual games as runner and simulation, but still they are much better on KPIs, retention, in-app is much more significant in those type of games. So we see puzzles are trending much more. And if we talk about which type of puzzles are trending, then you can see the list of top hybrid games by in-app purchase revenue in the past 30 days. So definitely the gem puzzles are super trending now. We start with block gem, then bust gem, slinky gem, screw gem. All of those gem puzzles have the same mechanic, different theme, different layout. And all of them monetize very well with in-app, as we said, because users run out of space. And then you have this pop-up. You can either play on with coins that you usually won't have and need to buy, or you can give up. And there's the heart system that works in all the puzzle games. So like monetize is built in those games. You have built-in pressure points. Again, you can continue, try again, or use coins or pay to progress. We also see sort arrange type of puzzles that are also trending. So again, Hexasort is one example. We also have Sit Away and Twisted Tangle that are doing very well. And those two games also work with time limit levels. Again, levels have time, 5 minutes, for example, to complete a level, and users in harder levels don't complete it in time. So we'll have the same pop-up of continue using coins or play again and lose a life. So again, those puzzles work well because they have this built-in monetization, and those super mechanics are now strong. And if we talk about innovation in puzzles, then you can see we talked about Block Jam and Bat Jam. They actually came from the ZenMatch, which is still a very successful puzzle game. Similar match-free ties, but again, simplifying the UI, making it a little bit different, but again, using the same mechanic, same monetization, same things that work, but just bring a little bit of a twist. If we talk about Twisted Tangle and Tangle Master, Tangle Master used to be a very successful game in hyper casual, and Twisted Tangle just move it into more of this 2D layer that is more of puzzle approach, and made much more harder levels and monetizing much better in this category compared to the older game. Hexasort took the Wooduku gameplay, drag and drop. It works amazing in Wooduku for the past few years, and Hexasort did it very well also, and this time is starting to scale. So again, use puzzle mechanics that work, but add your own twist. If it's a new theme, as we saw, Block Jam, Bat Jam, Screw Jam, Slinky Jam, it could be simplify the gameplay, make it much more easier. It could be changing the puzzle layout or twist something in the creatives. But again, some mechanics, those three mainly work just better than others. So focus on them, but bring your own twist to these puzzles. If you got tips for building your puzzles, so we say avoid niche mechanics. Those mechanics work better, so try to focus on those mechanics. As we said, the gem puzzles, the sort puzzles, references are key. Again, don't go to niche puzzles that don't have a strong reference behind them. So focus on the trending type of puzzles. Add your own twist with a new theme, different layout, something that you can do a little bit different to approach different users and come up with something fresh. And in every puzzle, don't let users overthink. Puzzles need to be intuitive, fast-paced. You just need to tap something or move something very fast, and those type of puzzles just work better. And as we said, theme can also help with creatives later. For example, Bat Jam showing the bats at the beginning, or other themes that can help also lower CPI in those type of games. So they also help explain the goal much more better when you use a theme, and you don't just show random color blocks that usually start with higher CPI. So those are the tips for building your puzzle hit and moving to creatives.
The two main words to always remember while you're approaching a new creative or testing a new creative for hyper-casual puzzle games are fail and frustration. The main objective or the hyper-casual puzzle genre is to represent the game in a way that is clear and easy to understand, so that the audience of all ages eventually will really understand how to play it. But it's not just about losing, it's more how they lose. And there are a few reasons why ads that showcase failed scenarios usually tend to perform better than the ones with winning gameplay. First of all, because they're driving emotion. So the main purpose of the fail ads is definitely to trigger an emotional response from the viewers, and fail ads are designed to frustrate people. The second main point is that they are teaching the rules. So when the viewers watch the ads and see what not to do in the game, automatically we learn the rules of the game in a reverse situation. Definitely you can show and trick the users into thinking that the puzzle ad is either super easy or super challenging. In general, they're quite captivating, and this is really important because when a viewer starts watching a fail advertising, usually stick up until the very end of the ads itself. And last but not least, we're talking about lowering the CPI. So when the fail ads is very well executed, definitely is engaging the audience in a way that a normal winning gameplay ads won't do. Talking about the hook we know already is the most important part of your video, so you should make sure that in the first 1 to 4 seconds you maximize this time frame and showing an impactful moment that will engage with your audience and keep them watching the ads. And for puzzle game, we have few main hooks that are seems like very common around the industry. Definitely the first one is the gameplay complexity, because it's challenging those puzzle users, as well as the addition of storytelling, the narrative within the puzzle experience itself. Of course, as we already mentioned, the failed scenarios and the mechanics, and now also the mechanics is being executed, as well as the latest trend in terms of hook is about the IQ option, the IQ problem solving, and the brain age sliders. I would like to dive deep a bit more into complexity, because challenging the users in the puzzle genres is something that it's really trendy at the moment, because is appealing to their desire or solving the challenge, and definitely to showcase their intelligence. So this particular trend is definitely attracting those users that love to tackle the challenges, and definitely are working quite well for the puzzle genre. So it's something to take in consideration while you're trying your next creatives. Then storytelling and narrative. This is something that is usually taken in consideration while we're moving to the stages, right? So we're seeing this trend more when the games are already published. There is a simple reason why, because before reaching this moment, you should already understand which is the main gameplay they attract the best, they engage the most with the audience. And then all the storytelling with the characters focus creatives is added in the next phase, right? So definitely something to take in consideration while we're moving through stages, because it's something that's still very engaging with the audience to build the creative around the characters, where is a peril situation, or simply help the cats in this case to get some milk.
So if we go to the key takeaways for puzzle games, so first thing is ideation. Again, you should use training mechanics. If in runners we say theme is important, also in puzzles, but in puzzle it's more important to use mechanics that works. There are so many mechanics for puzzles, but some of them are less successful. So again, we showed few trending puzzle mechanics, so make sure you choose one of them. Again, intuitive mechanics and gameplay, again, it should be fast, and those tap to play, slide to match, drag and drop, all of them should create a fast puzzle experience.
On the creative side, as we mentioned, fail and frustration are the two main words to remember while you're producing your new creative videos. Something very, very important for the puzzle genres is how you represent your game in the most easy and clear way possible, because it needs to be accessible to the audience of all ages.
And if we talk about themes, again, we say that theme can help lower CPI in puzzles and explain better the goal. But if in runner themes and CPI is super important at first, at puzzles we mainly look at playtime and retention and engagement of the users, and then we can do a new type of creatives later to try and lower CPI. But again, try to make sure you also have a theme that later we can try different creatives to lower CPI and have better marketability. So those were the key takeaway for puzzle. Let's move on to the next last category for the Super Spring competition. So make your simulation games. Again, simulation games, they were super popular in the old hyper casual because they had super amazing marketability, low CPI, but they're less trending now because the market is changing and evolving. But again, see a strong category in terms of marketability and low CPI. And again, we see that more type of simulation types can go even hybrid and have much longer playtime and retention that we will talk about. So we want to focus mainly on decision-making games, simulation games. We published Family Life, Gossip Master and other games that have this simulation game decision making. So we showed about runner, that runners also have these gates for decision making. Puzzles also have this decision making in them. So also simulation games, the user need to select the correct answer or select something to do next. And we see those different other simulation games with pressure points to progress faster also monetize well with RV and in-app. And Family Life is a great example for that. If we share tips for building a simulation game, so again, it's start first with the simulation creatives to try and bring low CPI, but also focus about gameplay, progression, monetization, and again, the references from existing strong simulation games. So again, you'll notice in the past, simulation games was mainly about trying to get low CPI and then to build a nice game, but now you should also like try to think about how progression will look like, how the gameplay will look like, and also in any category, also in runners, also simulation. Don't think only about the CPI, but think about the gameplay as well. And now we can share tips about creatives.
Thanks, Uri. There is a wide range of simulation game subgenres, but we're going to focus on the two main ones. First of all, the do-it-yourself subgenre trend. This is something still very attractive, and you can bet something about these subgenres. The audience here will like exactly the same stuff in real life, like in your game. So two main tricks here to take in consideration while you're ideating your next hit definitely is to keep it real. Needs to happen exactly like the real activity that you would like to show. Of course, you need to think all exactly the same process, the same setting, but adding this hyper casual vibe to the composition. And the second main point is to always look for something additional, like an ASMR experience, humor, or gross out that will really engage with the audience in the first few seconds on the video. Regarding the decision making here, those are the games, of course, where the players is deciding how to move next to the next adventure or part of the stories. Something to notice here as a common trend definitely is how we are presenting the choices to the audience, right? So there are different example here that showing clarity. Definitely, first of all, with the color association, we discussed this already. Green and red definitely help to make things much clearer and easy to understand, and they teach the user exactly where to look at first. But there are other examples with text solution that are still quite engaging, exactly like the family life of the 911 example that we already published. So the focus here definitely is going on how we are presenting the choice, but definitely something important as well is to take in consideration of the topic. And in order to engage with a wider audience, there is some specific topic that we chose in our creative strategy and definitely work. Like, for example, starting a young family or being part of a crime family or the pregnancy itself on the development of the career. So something important again on those games is to make sure there is a big engagement on the topic itself, and it needs to be very communicate to a very wide audience to be effective.
And thank you. And if we could try to summarize and take key takeaways for those type of games as well, for the simulation games. So again, look beyond CPI. Try to think also about the progression and how the game will look like. And again, in simulation games, in runners, it's much more easier to get a low CPI. So it's thinking about beyond CPI, how the game will look like, progression, unlocking, make the game more exciting. As for creatives,
for the creatives, definitely what we discuss is about stick closely to the original experience and the trend of the activity that we want to imitate. Something cool is to create this wow moment, right, with a beautiful outcome, or can be also a fail moment or a prank. regarding the decision making, we need to definitely focus on universally relatable topics, and we need to definitely simplify the choices with icons or minimal text or color association.
And as for themes, again, make sure that the theme is not niche and attracting a large audience. For example, family life, everyone almost has a family, and this is something that everyone can relate with. So go to themes that are very popular and everyone can see the creative and say, oh, I want to play this game, I experienced it today, because they simulate real life, and those themes are just work better than other themes in simulation games. Thank you, and now we move to the Q&A part.